Either you rule your habits, or your habits will eventually rule you, and trust me, they are the most brutal tyrants you'll ever face. Most people walk around with invisible shackles, thinking they are free while they're actually being played by their own dopamine receptors like puppets on a string. They are slaves to the infinite scroll, slaves to the sugar high, and slaves to the comfort that is slowly suffocating their potential in a velvet coffin. But today, we stop the bleeding. I'm going to show you exactly how to execute your weaknesses before they execute your future. Listen closely and watch until the very end, because I'm not just giving you some soft, productivity tips, I'm giving you the Machiavellian blueprint to purge the slave mindset and reclaim your throne. Niccolò Machiavelli once said that the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. To survive in the high-stakes game of life, you must be both. Your bad habits. Those are the traps set by a system that profits from your distraction. Your lack of discipline. That's the wolf at your door, waiting for you to get tired so it can take everything you've built. In the USA today, the system wants you weak, addicted, and predictable, because a predictable man is a controllable man. But a prince, a real player in this game, knows that self-mastery is the ultimate form of power. If you can't rule the kingdom inside your own mind, you have zero business trying to rule anything outside of it. Today, Psychology Decoded is handing you the Purge Protocol. Rule number 1 is to identify the traitor within, because as Machiavelli warned, a prince is never safe if his own mercenaries are disloyal, and your habits are your internal mercenaries. Imagine a high-level CEO in Silicon Valley or a Wall Street shark. Do you think they got there by scrolling through TikTok for 6 hours a day? Absolutely not. They understand that attention is the new currency, and when you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, you've already filed for bankruptcy. You've let an NPC, a digital ghost, dictate your emotional state before you've even brushed your teeth. That isn't main character energy, that is the behavior of a digital peasant. You need to understand that your brain has a glitch designed for a world that no longer exists. It's hardwired to seek the path of least resistance because, thousands of years ago, saving energy meant survival. But today, in the land of abundance, that same instinct is a death sentence. Machiavelli argued that men are generally selfish, fickle, and lazy unless forced to be otherwise by necessity. This means your natural state is to be a loser. To win, you have to go to war against your own biology. You have to treat your bad habits like a rebel uprising in a distant province of your empire. You don't negotiate with rebels, and you don't give them a cheat day to keep them happy. You crush them with overwhelming force. If you're gatekeeping your potential, you have to stop letting these low-value desires sit at your table and whisper lies into your ear. Now we get to the lethal part, the strategic purge. Most self-help gurus in the USA will tell you to slowly quit, to take baby steps towards change. Machiavelli would laugh at that weakness. He believed that if you must inflict an injury, it should be so severe and so sudden that you don't have to fear revenge from the victim. Apply this to your soul. If you want to kill a bad habit, you don't trim its branches, you pour salt on the roots and burn the tree to the ground. You need to perform a burn notice on your old self. If social media is making you weak and envious of lives that aren't even real, you don't just limit your screen time, you delete the apps, deactivate the accounts, and throw the phone in the other room. This is the weaponized absence of the self. You are withdrawing your presence from the activities that drain your power. When you cut off the dopamine supply, your brain is going to glitch. It's going to scream, it's going to bargain, and it's going to beg you to just check one more time. That is the moment of truth. That is where you hold the frame. Think of it like a siege on a castle. Your old habits are trying to starve you out, but you are the one holding the gates. Machiavelli said that it is better to be feared than loved, and you need to make your lazy, addicted self fear your disciplined, cold-blooded self. You need to become the cold prince of your own life. When the craving hits, whether it's for a cigarette, a drink, or a mindless scroll, you don't react emotionally. You watch the urge like a predator watching a lab rat. You realize that the urge isn't you, it's just a dying signal from a low-value version of yourself that is desperate to survive. Let it die in the cold. The final stage of this first half is the vacuum of power. Machiavelli knew that when you destroy an old order, you must immediately establish a new one with even stricter laws, or someone else will move in and seize the throne. If you kill a bad habit and leave an empty space in your schedule, a new, potentially worse habit will fill that void. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the human mind. You need to occupy that territory with high-value actions immediately. This is where you install the success loop. If you stop the 2 a.m. gaming marathons, you start the 5 a.m. training sessions. If you stop the toxic gossip with low-level friends, you start studying the legends of industry. In the USA, people are obsessed with vibes and manifesting, but a Machiavellian is obsessed with leverage. Every habit you install must give you more leverage over your environment. This is the intermittent reinforcement of self-growth. At first, the new habit will feel like a chore, but as the results start to manifest, the sharper jawline, the piercing eyes, the calculated speech, and the growing bank account, your brain will start to associate the struggle with the win. You're no longer an NPC following a script written by big tech algorithms and junk food corporations. You are the architect. You are the one who decides who lives and who dies in the kingdom of your mind. You are finally becoming unforgettable, not just to the world, but to the man you see in the mirror. You've successfully moved from being a subject to being a sovereign. We've just executed the old regime. But a prince's work is never done. Now that you've cleared the ground, you have to build the fortress. Once you have purged the traitorous habits from your kingdom, you cannot leave your borders undefended. Machiavelli knew that a prince who relies on fortune or willpower is a prince who will eventually fall. Willpower is a finite resource, it's a battery that drains every time you make a decision. To truly rule yourself, you must move beyond willpower and enter the realm of automated dominance. This is what we call the fortress of routine. You must architect your environment so that your success is inevitable and your failure is impossible. In the USA, the average person wakes up in a state of chaos, checking emails, reacting to notifications, and eating whatever is convenient. This is a wide-open fortress with no guards. You, the prince, must build walls. Your morning shouldn't be a choice, it should be a ritual. From the moment your eyes open, you execute a pre-planned sequence of high-value actions: cold water, deep work, physical exertion. You don't decide to do these things, you execute them because they are the law of your land. Machiavelli argued that a prince must always be thinking of war, even in times of peace. This means you must stress test your routine. If you can only stay disciplined when life is easy, you aren't a prince, you're a lucky peasant. You need to build a routine that holds even when you're tired, even when you're stressed, and even when the world is falling apart around you. This is the psychological armor that makes you untouchable. In 2026, the distractions are more sophisticated than ever. The algorithms are literally designed by neuroscientists to keep you in the slave loop. By automating your routine, you are effectively taking the controls out of the hands of the system and putting them back into your own. You become a black box, unpredictable to the world, but perfectly disciplined to yourself. This is how you turn a streak into a lifestyle, and a lifestyle into a legacy. As you begin to rise, you will encounter a threat more dangerous than your own cravings, the saboteurs. Machiavelli warned that, he who is the cause of another becoming powerful is the ruin of himself. When your friends and family see you changing, when they see the Psychology Decoded mindset manifesting in your walk and your talk, they will feel insecure. They liked the version of you that was weak, because your weakness made them feel better about their own. They will try to pull you back into the bucket. They'll say things like, "Why are you being so serious lately?" or, "Come on, one drink won't kill you," or, "Don't forget where you came from." This is a test of your Machiavellian resolve. These aren't your friends in this moment, they are the crabs in a bucket trying to ensure no one escapes the boiling water. You must apply the rule of strategic cruelty. Machiavelli famously asked whether it is better to be loved or feared. In this context, it is better to be feared as someone who is cold and unsympathetic than to be loved as a loser who stays in the mud. You must be willing to prune your social circle with the same ruthlessness you used on your habits. If a relationship requires you to be a lower version of yourself to maintain it, that relationship is a shackle. You don't need to make a big announcement or have a talk. You simply withdraw. You become busy. You gatekeep your energy. You surround yourself only with those who are also in the pursuit of dominance. In the USA, loyalty is often used as a weapon to keep people in stagnant circles. But a prince's loyalty is to his purpose, not to people who want to see him fail. By cutting off the saboteurs, you send a message to the universe: my crown is not for sale, and my progress is non-negotiable. The final stage of the purge is the total reinvention of the identity. Most people fail at habit breaking because they say, "I'm trying to quit smoking," or "I'm trying to start waking up early." The word "trying" is an admission of potential failure. A Machiavellian doesn't try, he becomes. You must shift your identity from a reforming slave to a sovereign individual. When someone offers you a low-value distraction, you don't say, "I can't," you say, "I don't. I don't do that. That's not who I am." This is the internal lockdown. You are creating a new, social contract with yourself. You have successfully moved from the fox phase, sneaking away from traps, to the lion phase, ruling your territory with absolute authority. In the high-pressure markets of New York or Los Angeles, the winners are the ones who have a radiant authority. They don't have to tell you they're in charge, you can feel it in their frame. This frame is built on the corpses of your dead habits. Every time you said no to a craving, you added a brick to your throne. Every time you chose the hard path over the easy one, you sharpened your sword. You have now achieved what Machiavelli called virtue, the ability to maintain power regardless of the chaos of the world. You are no longer reacting to life, life is reacting to you. You are the main character not because you say you are, but because your actions leave the world no other choice but to acknowledge it. The slave mindset is officially dead. The prince has ascended. Look at the person you were before you started this video. That person is a ghost now. You've just been handed the most dangerous psychological toolkit in the modern world. You know the Purge Protocol. You know how to execute the weakness, how to build the fortress, and how to handle the saboteurs who want to see you crawl back into the mud. But knowledge without execution is just mental masturbation. If you walk away from this and go back to your old ways, you're not just a slave, you're a traitor to your own potential. But I know who you are. You're still here because you're ready to rule. You're tired of being the NPC. You're ready for the Psychology Decoded lifestyle. If you have the courage to kill your inner slave today, I want you to hit that subscribe button right now and join the elite circle of the Decoded. Turn on notifications so you never miss a briefing from the front lines of the mind. I want you to go to the comments right now and type, "Crown secured." Let it be your public declaration that the old you is dead and the prince has arrived. Don't look back. The past is a graveyard. Your future is a kingdom. This is Psychology Decoded. The internal war is won. Now, go out and conquer the world.